And here
Yeah.
it goes.
Eclectic method.
Every day, every single day, every day, every single day, every day, every single day, every day, every single day. The name BEEPLE is a stuffed animal, rendering as much as possible with 3D models, insane tools at your disposal. You know, more and more powerful, unbelievable concert visuals, little kind of abstract clips, audio and music. Made something with it, hammer some bullshit, publish it. Things that one person can do with GPUs, other people respond to, incrementally approve. Abstract, people crowd, rap, fucking slap. Rather not have my name attached to that. Sort of abstract, people crowd, rap, fucking slap. Get into Photoshop, super shocked. Like wow, sure every day, every single day, every day, every single day, every day, every single day, every day, every single day. Went to school for computer science. That was a fun experience. I never leave my basement. Super fucking important. Super sync. Dial in, animate things. I kind of know a little about a lot of things. I wanted to get better at drawing. Interested in learning, interacting, learn new things. I get up pretty early, teach myself Cinema 4D. The point of it is to get better incrementally. Abstract, people crowd, rap, fucking slap. Rather not have my name.
Okay, so welcome to the MightyMAi show, episode 2, where we talk about music and blockchain. Second part of the disclaimer, this show is visual, so you can click the stream button on Discord if you haven't already, and so you could see the pretty nice setup we did together to
Amazing
showcase
setup, honestly.
this show. And so I'm happy to share the mic with MAiWorld, and I would like to thank TokenSmart again for hosting this show, and thank you all for listening as well.
Hell yeah. Yeah, thanks for the introduction, dude. And thanks for making this amazing visual here. This is sick. We talked about it last week. We're like, man, we should like try and like do some clever visuals, and Mighty obviously crushed it. We got a couple other things too that I'm excited to see. But yeah, no, this is episode 2.
Yeah,
Hopefully a little more structured, but I mean, hey, this is we're learning. Work in progress. Shout out TokenSmart. We're
yeah,
happy to be
we
here.
organized a little bit more, and so we came up with a beautiful drop-down menu with all the topics we want to talk about, and so you can see them on the screen. And I mean, we just have a few words to say before, but we are going to jump straight into it. And so
Yeah.
the first word was just a message I received from a Telegram group focused on music, which says, we haven't documented this, the music, the basics enough. And so that's something that is pretty true, that here we are going to talk about very deep things and analysis, and but that's sometimes very complicated, and we just want to let people know that we are also working on simplifying all this, documenting, finding ways to explain it to newcomers and to people we are trying to onboard as well on this revolution about music and blockchain. And so even though here the show is meant to go deep into things and, all the fun, all the punks, the finest news today, we will do our best to as well share on other platforms, if you follow us on Twitter or wherever, to provide the basics necessitated to jump into it and to understand all this. Yeah, that was everything I wanted to say, so we can jump right in.
Well said. Well said. It's important. It's important though too, because like me and you, we're both like, we're this is such a new space that like nobody's an expert on it, but we're just trying our best to understand it ourselves. So it's cool to, be able to share that kind of live on a podcast, a weekly show. And yeah, so we're not experts, but we're definitely gonna do our best to break some stuff down and hopefully simplify some things. But cool, yeah. If we wanna jump right in here.
Yeah,
topic.
so this week we are going to talk about some adoption, some catalyst in the traditional industries that push things into the blockchain. also some tech news from the blockchain, and in the end, some reflections like let's imagine the future. And in all those topics, there we are going to talk about like Soulja Boys, different labels that are coming into the blockchain. Some documentations that has been made by some metaverse artists, the music marketplace, and different kind of
Lots
topics.
of lots of topics. Yeah, I was gonna say it's a lengthy list, which is good. Which is good. Hopefully we get to it all too, and we
Yeah,
definitely want to
we will
also
try.
we're gonna hopefully try to showcase a few artists NFTs exclusive. Some of them I think most of them are out, right? And I think one of them is dropping soon. So we'll get there, and we're gonna hopefully just kind of throw that in throughout some of these topics. But dude, I think we should just start with the Soulja Boy thing because I think
Yeah,
it's really
exactly.
interesting because it's right off of like where we were kind of talking about last week, where it's like, what's going to be the thing that happens? Is it going to be somebody? Is it going to be somebody in an exclusive blockchain world, artist that does something so interesting that it brings people in, or is it going to be somebody like Soulja Boy? You know,
So
like somebody like Soulja
yeah,
Boy. All he had to do was be like, "Hey,
yeah,
what's
but
going on here?"
a
And
little bit of
the whole space
backstory.
just went nuts.
Yeah, so the backstory is that, initially Soulja Boy is already an internet thing. Like the first track he released, which pretty much everyone knows about now, which is Crank That, uh, was an
Hit.
internet phenomenon and was like one of the first things that blowed up from the internet at the beginning. And so 10 years later, and here's the tweet on the screen, he said he made this song 2 years ago. Uh, he made a song basically called Bitcoin, which here's an extract, which is fun.
Soulja. Man, it's going crazy, this cryptocurrency, man. Man. Hey. I made 100 racks off of Bitcoin. You could catch me trapping with the Bitcoin.
Bro, I've
You
never
could
heard this
catch me
song.
running up the Bitcoin. I spent 6,000 on a
Didn't you? Yeah, so he did
No,
that.
I hadn't heard that yet. That
It
is
was 2 years
that
ago.
is hilarious.
And now it seems that 2 years later, he's learning more and more about the blockchain. And now it comes to a point where he's reaching the altcoins, the metaverse. And he didn't really stepped in yet in the metaverse, but the question on everyone's mouth this week was, okay, when does the first Soulja Boy NFT is about to come out? And so we kind of see him walking around asking questions to his community, like, okay, what's the best crypto? What do you know? What advice do you have? Basically, he's also trolling a little bit because if he knows about Bitcoin from 2 years ago now, he knows a little bit about. But he's here and there. He's cool about it, and yeah, it's very interesting to see him come through.
Yeah, and it's like, what's gonna happen? Like, I'm interested to see because we saw what happened with Little Yachty, and
Yeah,
I think Little Pump did something too with social tokens and things like that. But
because
I think somebody like Soulja Boy would be, ironically, I think that he could be a good ambassador for people that aren't in the space. I think that if he can come through and do something interesting, like something unique that actually isn't like just what looks like a money grab for what is what I feel like Little Yachty's scheme was. I would be really interested to see Soulja Boy drop some like actual good NFT experiences for fans. And I mean, yeah, you're definitely right. Like he definitely is trolling a bit because he has to know more than what he's anticipate or what he says on Twitter. And because I saw him say a bunch of things this week that I was like, there's no way he doesn't know these answers. But
yeah,
but I mean,
and as well,
if
he
he gets in,
tweeted something like, here are all the coins I bought this week, and obviously he dropped a list of all the baddest, not the baddest, but
what the fuck?
not the
Jason
common
A.
investor bag, and everyone yelled at him like, hey, what did you bought? But he was trolling, I think, here, and but when you look at his recent content, like this one. which for people who are only listening, it's a 3D video which is really advanced and which perfectly fits the needs of, you know, doing an NFT from an artist like Souljaboy. So
Oh,
at
dude,
any
that
time,
is so sick.
at any time you can pop out with some crazy 3D content and
Bro, that's
just
so hard.
breaking the internet with the NFT.
That's my name.
Yeah, go ahead.
And dude, and you know, I saw some, not to like kind of jump onto something else here, but like this type of shit, like if he can do, because this is the thing with a guy like Souljaboy, which is why I was kind of disappointed with like Lil Yachty's whole scheme, is like if somebody like Souljaboy comes into this space and does something. There's two sides to this actually, so I'm interested in this because there's like two sides to this. Someone like Souljaboy, who's got clearly way more resources than somebody like you and I. He's probably able to create a whole ass metaverse for himself, you know, and basically do a whole NFT drop. He could create his own metaverse. You know, I've seen a guy that I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I think it's like fuck render, I think, or something like that. But his metaverse like stuff or his 3D art is incredible. And it's like if Souljaboy comes out with his own metaverse type thing and it's like a first person like weird game like this, and he comes through and he does all this, you know, there's two sides to it. It's either one, it's going to be like, damn, it's going to make it really hard for us to kind of compete with that in a way, but at the same time, it's going to showcase the potential with these types of things. Somebody like that has to kind of break the mold and be like,
Yeah,
yo,
it
this is what you can do.
drive some traffic.
Right. I mean, it's super interesting.
And
I'm
so
definitely curious to see what he does from here.
the last connection, like the topic is called Souljaboy and Meg, and we're talking here about Meg the Stallion, which is a very famous rap artist as well in the United States. And she recently dropped, she had a partnership with Cash App, and so she made like a big, you know, the same crushing the internet, where she is giving $1 million in Bitcoin to as many hotties as she can, and I quote,
As many.
through Cash App.
I don't know how I feel about this personally. I don't know how I feel about this.
I don't know.
I don't know if I don't know if I trust this move. I don't know if I trust this move. I actually was a little bit turned off at the celebrity endorsements.
I don't know, but
Bitcoin.
what's
Not to say
fun is that, you know, Souljaboy tweeted something like, what's the best way to buy crypto? Like, is it Coinbase or Robinhood or whatever? And so Cash App replied that, and tagging Megan Thee Stallion and basically trolling as well, like, should we tell him what's happening, you know? And so this is just funny to see all this, you know, marketing as well between some big actors in the space. You know, driving adoption through little hints here and there. It's kind of a riddle, but it's definitely reaching the mainstream audience.
Yeah. It is good. It is good because it spreads the awareness of things like this, but it also, once again, it's just like when someone like Meg Thee Stallion, she's such a massive platform, and she just basically is like, hey, like, I think that there was a bit of education on her part, but it's like I just don't know if her getting her fans of her music to like get into crypto is really the best method. I mean, I guess it's better than nothing, but I don't know. I couldn't tell if this was like if it's a scheme or not. Like I'm just waiting for something to happen with them. But I mean, I'm still waiting for them to drop social tokens and come up with a better method so that we can all copy their tactics.
Yeah, we'll come to this in later topics. So yeah, that was all about it. Let's move on to the next, where we would talk about this week's Pransky Topshot. So Pransky just hit 1 million in NBA Topshot sales, and so I think that's he broke the record. And at a point where it was talked all over the place on Fox News. I don't know, it's Fox 5. I don't know how it works in the United States, but is it a side channel from the official Fox News?
Honestly, I don't know. I just
Okay.
pulled it up myself here.
But it's
Yeah,
just funny to see.
The NBA is trying to take sports collecting to new levels.
That's right. The league has launched something called NBA Topshot. Instead of collecting cards with a player's likeness and stats, the sport is letting fans buy a piece of the action. May sound confusing.
It is.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
it's really not confusing. Sorry, guys. But
you will look at the video. But yeah, that's the point. It's on all over the news, and even you can look on Google NBA Topshot, and then you will have a bunch of news everywhere about digital collectibles. What are they? What's happening? What's the record that has been broke? You know, and that's very interesting because at the same time, following French football, I saw the Kylian Mbappe, which is part of the French football team and that won the World Championship, that has his own NFT as well that went for $65,000. And as well, the same week, we had the CryptoPunks sales that were obviously breaking records as well. So as it is from the sports or the entertaining industry, that for me reached even more than, you know, Soulja Boy or Megan Thee Stallion. So we're definitely in a situation right now where the whole entertainment industry is going a big move onto the NFT space, even though it's still quiet somehow, but you know, it's a big move.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. I mean, like, if there's one positive to bring with all the celebrities getting involved, is it's just bringing so much more awareness to the space. And like I said, once they start doing something that's really like unique and valuable, like it'll be great because it'll bring people in. But yeah, someone like Meg, I still don't know how I feel about it, but uh, but no, this is the Top Shot thing, I genuinely think is the best idea I've seen so far when it comes to NBA and like people buying those like highlight reels of like great moments, like Vince Carter, like well, I can't remember, I don't know who it was, but somebody like had their last shot, and it's like that moment is as an NFT. I find that's like probably one of the best business strategies I've seen for NFT so far. It's like, how could we do something similar with
And
that same style of capturing a moment and tokenizing it and putting it into a really cool visual that's tradable and all of these things for music. Because,
uh,
you know, of course,
I've seen
you could
that.
buy the whole song.
Yeah. I mean, I can find the tweet back again, but relating to this topic, I found a tweet from someone who said, imagine if you could, you know, mint moments, you know, do NFT moments the same way, but with all the NBA players mentioned in the songs in the top 50 Spotify. You know, all the NBAs that were mentioned in a song by Drake or whoever can have his moment like any moment on the in the game.
Interesting. What I was just thinking of is like, what if? I mean, this isn't really that crazy, and I know people pretty much have already done this. But it's like, say you have a song that you really like, and instead of tokenizing the whole song, you tokenize just 30 seconds of it, like the best 30 seconds of it, like the highlight of that moment, and you just do a very unique visual with it, something like that. Like that'd be an interesting
I've
approach. I
bought
mean,
an
that's a
NFT like
simple
that
idea, but
from
say that again.
Modern NFT. Is just 30 seconds of the song. It's just one scene from his music video, and
Right.
it's just magic because it works in a loop. He made it a loop, and it's 30 seconds, but it's considered as a piece in itself.
Absolutely. And yeah, because that could be a lot of people, particularly people who maybe just kind of passively listen to music, like even when you really like a song, it's usually one moment or one line or one part of the video that really strikes you. So highlighting that as an artist or creator and being able to like tokenize just that and maybe making an experience solely out of that one moment, even creating a video solely for that one moment and getting pretty in depth, and that could be an interesting idea. In fact, I'm thinking about that right now because as you know, we are working on finishing up a project, but I'm talking to a few artists and builders, and that's an interesting idea I'm playing around with my head right now. Is like, what if I just took 30 seconds of a song and made unique editions of just that with a very unique artwork visual to
Yeah,
go along
it's a
with that.
moment, and the moment can be the chorus just, or not even a full song. It just a moment.
Right, yeah, exactly. To just really even highlight the song, because a lot of times I do feel like, there's one moment where it kinda
Hmm.
tells you the whole thing, and then, it's just you gotta make it somewhat longer than 30 seconds.
You can
What
tokenize your guitar solo, your crazy guitar solo.
I could, no, that'd be sick, actually. That's actually a great idea. Tokenize all the solos. That'd be
Yeah,
sick, yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
like that. I
Oh,
like
that's a
that a lot.
concept right here. You're talking about all the rock solo from the rock music. That would be a thing.
Dude, that see like right there, like that's fucking genius. That's the
Yeah.
most genius idea I've ever. Imagine if Stairway to Heaven guitar solo was tokenized
Yeah.
with a unique
Exactly.
visual created. Bro, that's I mean like if I'm in here
That's
right
an
now like
idea.
and I'm an investor like that, I'm hitting up Jimmy Page right now and I'm just like, "Hey, like let's
Let's
get
go.
that solo tokenized and let's sell that bitch." Cuz that shit would I mean, they have the type of ethos too to like pull that off, you know? Whereas like that's not going back to the other celebrity thing, but like when you saw someone like Little Yachty do it, I mean, I feel like people knew that vibe, like it wasn't genuine, it wasn't authentic, it didn't come off the right way. But it's
Yeah.
just about taking the technology almost and understanding what you can do in that, not just the fact that oh hey, like this is a collectible, you can make money off of it. But I feel like yeah, someone like Led Zeppelin or Pink Floyd or like these old bands, like if they made some really really unique moments of their classic hits, dude, that shit would sell crazy. And that
Yeah.
I mean, I would be interested in that. Like that'd be awesome to see.
Definitely. All right. Let's move on
Speculation,
to
but
yeah. Let's move on to the next. So Metaverse label. Sorry, an artist, and there was a few labels I wanted to mention, even though we don't know if we are labels because I put geniuscorp into it, and I w- I like the idea. Sorry, there's this label called Indie Block Records, but it's not really a label, or I don't know. It's more of an initiative that onboard artists into the blockchain, and especially on Emanate. So shout out to Emanate for being
okay.
one of the greatest, amongst the greatest streaming service based on the blockchain. And so Indie Block Records did a recap of their 2020, and yeah, in that recap they onboarded like 70 artists on Emanate, which is quite very good. And also an interesting concept they went on was doing what they call indie block production node, and which is them reaching to collective of artists, individual artists, and connect them together to make a song, which will be put on the blockchain through smart contracts. And so they kind of
Wow.
do the curation, and they spot a good artist here, a good artist there, and whatever, and they connect them together so they can work and create nodes. And as they've said, and I quote them, we were happy to see that we had many members that joined indie block production nodes. Furthermore, we are delighted that through our collaboration agreements together, we have produced 3 full quality songs that may not sound as much, but we are proud of everyone involved in the process. It requires constant and effective communication, and that is no easy task, and we know about it. End of the quote. And yeah, so I just
Wow.
wanted to give them a big shout out, and it's nice to see such initiatives. I want to also mention Metaverse Production 2020, which are also putting out some great contents and working on you know providing music in the metaverse and onboarding artists, and as well as DAORecords, which is doing like the big pioneer work into pushing this space further in terms of all the findings and all the ideas, all the experimentation. So a big shout out to them. And they released actually an NFT this week from a band called Bone Police, and I wanted to play this music right now because I went into an event, which was the release party in CryptoVoxels, and I wanted to have a little word about events in the metaverse, because this week there was the B20 Metapalooza event as well, which was the biggest I've seen in CryptoVoxels or in the metaverse in general. And that was like impressive. That was really impressive. It was about to crash CryptoVoxel servers, and all the servers. There was more than 200 people in the place, and I have a few pictures of that I can show right on the screen. And yeah, that was funny. Sorry, I'm bugging with the video. Yeah,
Oh
here
yeah,
it
yeah.
is.
I actually we'll play the song, but I actually but is oh wait, are we playing the song right now? Is that what you're about to do?
Yeah,
But I was gonna say I actually was chatting with Bone Police. I can't remember honestly what his name is now that I'm sitting here, but um but yeah, we talked about how he kind of was looking at this, and what's interesting to me, and which was cool is he just got involved in NFTs. He just learned about these only 2 weeks ago, and I found it like inspiring that he basically was like, yo, he found this, he understood it to the point where he's like, this is the future. I don't understand it that much, but I'm gonna give it a shot. And so he looked at it with like no expectations, and just basically pure experimentation. Um, and we could talk more about it after we play the song, but yeah,
yeah,
and this was a one of one, I believe, and I'm pretty sure it's sold, right? So
yeah. It's sold, and shout out to
that's just good.
Regin
That's just good to hear.
Bitcoin, which who is the lucky owner and who hosted the CryptoVoxels release party as well. So okay, that's the song called "Now Can't Relate" and by Bone Police.
Let's get it.
Yeah, I love this vibe. I really love this song, and I was listening to it several times this week, and yeah, I appreciate the 80s sound, and I was wondering sometimes, like, people would say, hey, it sounds old, but here it doesn't. It's just a choice to use this palette of this musical palette to express what he has to express today, and I find it beautiful.
Definitely. No, yeah, this song was a smash, dude. It gave me like Foster the People meets Tame
Yeah,
Impala meets fucking MGMT
yeah, yeah,
meets,
exactly.
like you said, like that 80s sound, and it was just like yeah, it's really unique. I actually really fuck with it. And he does a lot of I think he does a lot of the stuff himself. But I know that he said that he had a collaborator on this as
Hmm.
well. But yeah, no, the track is dope, and it's sold too, which is sick. So I
Yeah,
think it's good to
that
see,
ends
for
the
anybody
loop.
that's like out here that
Yeah,
I was gonna say anybody that's out here trying to create their first NFT, and it's like, that there's people out here that are pioneering, just going for it, and it's working. And it's just cool to see that that it is working. So it's like kind of just encouragement to, like, just do something unique, put out good content, and then just grow
yeah.
in the space with it.
Yeah, so definitely go check out their interviews with DAORecords, and big shout out to them. And also, I just wanted to give another shout out to DAORecords for having an NFT sold this week, which is one from Yunnan, Missouri, which I've collaborated with. And it was one of his track, one of early DAORecords NFTs, and that just sold this week. So congrats, guys. That's a good job.
Yes, shout
Okay,
out
so
Vandal, shout out DAORecords.
yeah,
Honestly, killing it. They kill it, and they kill it in this music NFT space, bringing in more people every single day. It's
yeah,
gonna be great.
absolutely. And so let's move on to the next topic. So we are entering the, now the catalyst. We finished about the adoption news, and now the catalyst, which are news from the traditional industry that pushes people into the blockchain. And the first one I wanted to mention about was the Spotify purge that occurred early January, where they took down, I don't know if like 700,000 tracks out of their catalog to prevent, the trickery occurring on their platform. And that had some consequences on traditional distribution system, where now, and I've experienced it lately, like this month, where I wanted to release a song on a classic distribution platform, on every platform. And now the distributors asks me like, okay, but I want to see a contract, because if you don't have any kind of contract, I'm not sure I will distribute you anymore. And I mean,
Wow.
I didn't
Wow.
I wasn't asked for any contract, since I'm uploading music with geniuscorp for more than a year now, or 2 years, and now they're asking for contracts, and that made me think, okay, but aren't we going in the smart contracts direction here? Because one thing that is
100%.
one thing that is important to explain here is the royalties supply chain, where, I mean, when you put up a song in the platforms, you are choosing a distributor which says, like, keep 100% of your royalties, or keep 90%, or whatever. You try to make the best choice, and you believe on them, on their marketing and whatsoever. But the thing is, and that we don't know, is that Spotify take a cut, so it's 100% minus the Spotify's cut. But also there's another part that we don't talk much about, and I was talking to my distributors about it, which is the hacker's cut. And what is a hacker's cut? Is like on the 100% cake of all the royalties in the world. In December 2020, 20% of those royalties were just sucked by hackers that were just tricking the game, putting silence, some playing the algorithm game, uploading 700 times the same song with different hashtags, like chill music or whatever, and that succeeded in a real coup of sucking like 20% of the royalties cake all over the world. And so when you go into distributors that says, okay, you will keep 100% of your royalties, that there's the Spotify's cut, there's the distributor's cut, and then there's the hacker's cut. And that doesn't leave you with much. And so I also understand Spotify's move to try to purge this huge phenomenon that was hurting everyone because it started to be too big. And so that was the whole point about it, what I wanted to talk about.
What's crazy about that in two ways is number one, I definitely want to talk about the fact that they're asking you for contracts now, because I find that that's super interesting. But first, there's two ways to look at like how Spotify is treating that, because it's like they're probably taking down like more independent people too, not like independent, but more smaller artists too that are getting those fake plays, because there's I would argue that there's probably more bigger named artists that are getting fake plays than we know. I mean, I'm not, obviously I don't know this for a fact, but it's just from from what I've experienced and from
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
see, I feel like it's probably more of them, and it's like they're not taking down those big artist tracks. So it's kind of interesting Exactly. No,
Yeah,
Vandal actually just said it. Labels got money
I'm not
to
sure
invest
these
in listening
artists
bots. It's super
represent.
facts. That's basically my experience as well. But it's like, you know, that all is gonna push us to a point where I feel like it's better because it's gonna push us to the need for blockchain, the need for smart contracts, and it's gonna enable these platforms to actually really have a lot more chance to, I feel like, really actually succeed or be a need and solve a problem because no, who has you know, contracts on hand. You know, I know Vandal just said he's got some templates, but it's like that's so interesting because that's gonna what happened. Yeah, everybody's out here being able to release music, but if it becomes a problem where all of a sudden, you know, people are basically screwing people over, and like these distributors no longer want to have to be responsible for distributing music that's just not properly split or not properly this and that. It's super interesting to like see that happening because I think that's kind of a good thing because it'll push the people more in this world more to the blockchain because it's just easier, and once that becomes more normalized, it'll uh, I don't know. I think that that will definitely help just push it in this direction. Of course, that'll be a learning curve, but you know, writing a contract is a learning curve. So I feel like having to write a contract would be just about the same difficulty as just wanting to get involved with just a blockchain streaming platform where everything's split up and you can kind of control that whole process and you don't have somebody else controlling it for you. So it's interesting. It's super interesting.
Yeah, definitely, and that takes the smart contracts road definitely because if my distributor starts to ask the contracts, I mean, I'm not against, but I mean, it's just doing all this manually is just impossible at the rate we produce, and that's why we're interested in getting into blockchain solution because if we are about to produce one song or a week, even though one song a week, it's 52 contracts to deal with on the year basis. And doing all that manually just take half of the year, dealing with lawyers and different types of contracts, production,
Right.
distribution,
Right.
whatever. And so, yeah, that just becomes hell to manage on an everyday basis when you're a producer focusing on creation.
Absolutely. I think so. Yeah. I mean, I think that's ultimately, I wouldn't say that's a bad thing. I mean, I know that, like I said, I think that the bad part about it is just that Spotify is probably being biased towards who they're taking, whose music they're taking down. And it's probably not fair in a lot of ways. But at the same time, you know, distributors and people like Spotify wanting to kind of make sure that things are more legit, once again, just goes back to a more important opportunity for crypto and blockchain technology in the music world to thrive. So
Yeah.
good,
So
good
that
stuff.
leads us to the troll mindset. And what's the troll mindset is the ability for, agile artists that are not tied to anything or anyone and that are just basically that set them free to, have defiance once they figure out how to set up a full ecosystem by themselves. And by that, I'm thinking about Connie Digital, which was a real precursor as well in this field, is like being free, doing his things, focused on his work. And but basically he can do that because he figured out the whole ecosystem, the social platform, the virtual world, the NFT release, the social tokens, and once you get them all, you pretty much manage a full ecosystem where you don't need other connection outside, and you have your own currency, you manage your assets, you have 100% control over everything that you're doing, and
Yeah.
so that's the defiance once you reach that level. And I refer to Souljaboy as well. If Souljaboy can hit this stage of having his whole full ecosystem
Yep.
towards his community, that's where you reach a critical point where you become the real troll because you can have 100% trust on your defiance because you're off the coast, you're on your boat, it's okay. You are going to arrive to have a good destination. I mean, sorry, I'm missing the words.
No, I'm following you. Following you. But yeah, no, it's a good good couple pieces of news I feel like that do add up to just me seeing like, yeah, so things are definitely moving in the right direction. Although there's like, it's hard to tell what's they're all not related, but you can see that all of these problems really just come from the same they all come with the same solution in my head, which is basically just blockchain. But
Yeah.
but yeah, being able to control it all, it comes with a lot more responsibility. I will say, a lot more accountability, a lot more responsibility for every artist and creator, though, because you have to be able to kind of manage all of that. And I think that that's uh, a good thing, but it's also like it's definitely going to be tricky because
Yeah.
and I think that it's going to create companies that are basically going to or mediate all of this too, which will then kind of, and this is, it's interesting. Even me saying that, it's like, well, that's going to enable then another middleman because it's like, there's going to be a lot of stuff to handle, and then it's like you're still going to need platforms that are created to make all of these things easier to handle.
Hmm.
So it's just going to come with, if you want more freedom, comes with more responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Which I
Yeah.
which I've always which I fuck with. So there's nothing wrong with that, but.
Yeah.
And 100%, yeah, I feel these. I feel that.
I think that
Um,
takes us to another topic, which is not right after, but later on the list. But we are not obligated to do them like it's ordered. So, which is in quote manage. I'm a creator. So, what's the deal? And that's the idea where, and that's what I feel here with geniuscorp. We are producing a lot of music and our different artists and whatsoever, and we would love to focus only on the creation aspects. And as Vendel mentioned in the chat, artists want to be artists and not manage all aspects of their career. But you gotta do what you gotta do. But I do agree, and at the same time, I do feel that I can handle my business. I'm fascinated in music business, and I feel that a lot of artists uh, feel this as well. I mean, if we go the trading music way, if we go into music trading in the future, everyone will be interested in the business aspects, and so, but it will be based on easy tools that are easy to manage and that are fun to deal with, and that's the problem now. It's dealing with manual contracts and uh, everything that goes around the creation is just hell to manage because it's not easy. It's totally opaque, and to learn from it, it takes years, and you got to cross a lot of experimented people, and all those things are not that complicated. It just has to be translated into softwares that are easy to use, and then we would be able to focus on creation and manage the business, but the easy way, like you would manage your social medias. Everyone has his account, his dashboards, he's managing his stuff. But it's easy. You want to remix something, you you ask the permission. You want to release your music, you give your roles, and so on. It's you want to release something with two people, just put a smart contract, click up, it's released. The smart contract is applied, and it has to be that easy. I mean, it shouldn't have. It wasn't possible to be that way before, obviously because of the technology advancements and everything. But now that we are here, and that there's a big community consuming music all around the world, and that are as well using the internet of information, it's time to go that direction and create a real foundation for the music industry and easy tools for everyone to get into this game.
Absolutely. Yeah. Lots of good info there.
Hmm.
Should we
Yeah, maybe we'll play some
listen?
music.
I was gonna say maybe we could listen to this Dougie track. So actually,
Yeah.
I spoke with Dougie. I spoke with Dougie a few times over the past week. Real cool dude. He's from Chicago, I think. But he's a producer, and yeah, he also just learned about the NFT space. And the first thing he did was mint his entire last album, and he just is releasing his newest album, which I think all of it is out on Spotify now. But The first one was called Time Travel, and the second one is called Flora. And but yeah, no, some of these. So I listened to some of Flora, and dude, his production is so unique, and
Yeah,
it's so like it's
that's what I
so
found
so.
as well.
It has such an interesting sound to it. I'm actually we're talking about doing some collabs, which is going to be really interesting to see.
Oh,
But yeah, he's got some
I've
yeah, he's got
spotted
some
a
dope shit. But
sample. I've spotted a little sample in. I choose the track, which is called Like Silk, and that's definitely a track I would look out to sample and remix and do something with in collaboration with an artist we have here in Geniuscorp. And yes, I'm going to play the music, and maybe this year we will talk about sampling his music and
yeah,
figure
no.
out ways with the blockchain to
Is this so is
feature
this from
this.
Flora, or is this off of Time
It's off
Travel?
of time travel. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, there's definitely samples to do some epic stuff,
Bro,
and I
his
love.
shit is so hard, bro. His
Yeah,
shit is so hard.
definitely.
His sound choice and like the rhythm aspect of like his production is just so fire to me.
Yeah,
But it's so interesting. That's why I'm so curious to see what we could create together. He has some crazy sounds, but he's got a whole album out, and they're all one of ones.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but but yeah, I mean him being so new to this space, like he just got involved to this space, like period. He didn't know anybody. And I'm gonna hopefully bring him in on some projects, and we'll get him in the community. I don't know if he's in here, but I think I invited him. I doubt he is, but I'll definitely send this to him after. Uh, but yeah, shout out to Dougie. Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
and
Shout
yeah,
out,
you
and
can go try and cop some of those.
yeah, maybe I'm looking forward to grab one.
And what we were talking about, and what I was talking about kind of with Bone Police as well, and just in general, is like the idea of minting editions. The conversation of how many editions per NFT should we really be thinking of as artists.
Mhm.
And I think this really opens up the conversation of like what is the purpose, and this really got some like good conversations going. So like one of one of the basic things that we talked about was like, if I think how much when we talked about this last week, actually, you and I, and you actually got me started on this thought, and this is kind of why I brought it up to them as well. Is like, one of ones with just the original artwork. It's like I feel like almost we want to do, because if we're doing that, it's basically all right, they're collectibles. And it's just basically saying like, hey, I can say that I own a piece of this, and I'm involved. But what's the difference of making 10 of 10 and allowing 10 different people to then say like, oh, okay, we're all invested in this one song, giving more
Yeah,
opportunity to kind of give people opportunity just to invest in you. And maybe that can change the way you choose to value them. But
yeah. For
but
me,
things like
yeah. Go ahead.
but I was just, yeah, just to say, I was just gonna say like it's and yeah, some of these comments are sparking like what we were talking about. It's like you could do two different NFTs essentially for each song. So you could do a one of one edition, maybe like a month after or 2 months after, and say, and like, to kind of show legacy for the song. But at first you sell editions of it, like 20 editions or 25. And then and that way you can kind of get both ideas out, and as long as you make them both unique and an experience and value in themselves, I feel like you can have a lot of I feel like that could be a good way to start to view it too. It's like, but we're all just learning, you know. I talked about this with everybody. Like we don't really know what the best
Yeah,
decision is, but it's
my
like,
my
you know, just
current
that gives opportunity for both.
yeah, my current understanding of it is any number between 1 and 1,000 is interesting. You know, are interesting numbers to give crazy experimentation to take place. Um, I don't know. That's my take. Any number between 1 and 1,000 can let some interesting experiment take place. Yeah, that's a better way to put it. And
Yeah, exactly. And it's good to like see how it feels, you know what I'm saying? Oh, Dougie's here. What up? Yeah, I see him in the Twitch. That's what's up.
yeah,
Yep. Um but
shout out.
but yeah, no, and you know, that could take us even to like, you know, the next topic, which is we had a well-known artist in the space, in particular the crypto space and in the electronic space. Uh Blau, he did his NFT drops this week and they were incredibly successful.
Yeah, yeah, you can talk about it.
Well, shit. I mean, he basically. So I think what he did was he sold 99. It was they were multiple editions of and they were 9.99 each at first. That was his first drop, and that was I don't know how many editions there were, but he definitely gave a lot of editions. There was more than like there's more than that. He did one of one the next day. I know that. But he sold, I think he totaled at like 25, 250K, something along there, because with the total of both. And you know, that's just like, I feel like that's just crazy. Like that's a lot. Like that's just seeing like the potential of success. That's just like that's like the potential of success with these NFTs and with someone who actually has real ethos and real credibility. It's like there's somebody out there that can drop a one of one NFT and make $75,000. I feel like that says a lot about how people feel about the idea of investing in music and art. And it's like and it's still strange to me that we don't it's not more agreed upon by the masses. I know this is super new in retrospect, but it's like seeing that should be, I feel like, just a statement of credibility for the whole idea as a space. So I'm just interested to see how that success increases the next big artist to get involved and be successful. Now, I think the thing that is beneficial to him is that he is really invested in the crypto space already. And you know, he was an early adopter to a lot of these blockchain technology streaming platforms. So I think that obviously was a benefit, but but it still shows like the potential. That's really what I feel like is important. But yeah, I mean, super successful drop. Uh, I'm interested, and I know he was actually, I was in a clubhouse with him recently, just listening in. Which, by the way, if you guys are trying to like learn about shit, I know Clubhouse isn't new, but like it's just, I just like recently got on there and you can learn so much shit. It's just crazy how much info is being talked about in these rooms, and you can just pop in. So it's
Yeah,
fucking
that's
awesome,
cool. But
honestly.
I'm on Android, so I'm not allowed to get in still.
What do you mean? You're
It's
not
only
allowed?
iOS for now.
Wait, you're not allowed, or you're saying
No, it's
you don't want
just
to?
developed on iOS only, and the last time I checked, there was
Oh.
no Android version, and I'm on Android, so I cannot get into these rooms yet.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, so I was in there, I was in a room with him, and he's talking about the one thing that I think is the most interesting aspect of NFTs and artists right now, which is the idea of being able to put royalty splits within an album, or being able to do some sort of investment into the royalties of a song or album or discography, perhaps. That to me is possibly the most interesting part about this all. But he's like heading, like trying to get all the legal aspects figured out, and so he's trying to do that for his next album. And he was talking about March. Hopefully he can have some things
Yeah.
figured out. So that's gonna be
So
that's gonna be really dope to see,
two
because I
shout
think
outs
that's the
here.
biggest thing.
Big shout out to Blau, because as well he wrote on Defiant News an article called "Building the Investable Layer of Music," and which is a very insightful article about his current reflections and work around the space. So you should definitely check that article, and you can find all the articles we are checking on my, music and blockchain initiative mind map, where there's all the articles we come across and that we gives all into the same place. You can find this map at geniuscorp/fr .fr/the map, and yeah, go definitely check this article.
Nice.
And so you were talking about royalty split into an NFT,
shit,
and
dude.
that was one
Dude,
of
you know
the
what
topics.
You know what I just realized, bro?
Well,
It's like we're like 3 minutes away from 7.
yeah,
Like that's great.
that's crazy. I
Damn.
mean, are we allowed to continue? Is there something after us, or maybe we can
I was
cut?
gonna say like we could you guys can cut us off, but I'm happy to keep talking. I don't know. We could be alone in here. We could be the only moderators. But but either way, I mean, we could just keep going until we get booted, I guess.
Yeah, I just
I don't
wanted to
know.
play.
We'll let the crowd decide, honestly.
I just wanted to play, our latest release. Our latest release here in Geniuscorp. We just released our first set of NFTs as Geniuscorp, which are 3 artists: Kazlab, Lilcha, and mndyrmm, in featuring with 10K Dunkin, which is, all the crew from Atlanta, all the new generation from Atlanta with, I don't know if you know the underground scene with 645 AR, the guy which sings with the Mickey Mouse voice that has been deemed the Song of the Year by the New York Times. And, all this crew, and one of my associates at Geniuscorp just made a collaboration with this guy, 10K Dunkin. And so that's the track. It's very short. It's about 1 minute, but I just wanted to play it. Okay, so Easy is telling us we keep going. I think at the speed we are going, we may reach the 1 hour and a half time mark, but that's something we might have to work on next weeks. So
yeah, it's
here
okay.
is,
I feel that. Yeah.
yeah.
We should be good by 7:30 at the most.
But we're almost there.
Oh
So,
no, 1 hour.
so here is Only Half by Me and Your Mama and 10K Dunkin, released on Geniuscorp. So here it was, Only Half, our latest productions at Geniuscorp here, and we're trying to onboard all this crew from Atlanta into the blockchain space, and we're early, and big shout out to him and to my associate as well. And so yeah, you were just talking about royalties, please, into an NFT just before we were playing the song, and that's on the list actually. Why? Because I've noticed two platforms doing separate functionalities that would be interesting to bring into a standard platform, which are multi-layered NFTs, which is a functionality brought up by Phantasma, which is a new marketplace for NFTs based on a Soul token. And so the idea would be that you can release an album. Every track would be an NFT, and there would be a master NFT, which would represent the album and all the others NFTs. And so that's interesting in a way, because when when you put a visuals when you do a visual art, you can do like one NFT, but when it comes to music, sometimes projects are a little more complex, and there are several tracks. There can have several visuals or even other assets that could be brought up into the project. And so having the idea of multi-layered NFTs would make sense to because I did like sorry I did release with 14 tracks as NFTs, but once each tracks are minted, they live independently and they are not related one to each other, so no one can really know it's part of an album, and so that would make sense to have this functionality. And the other functionality would be to have several collaborators signing the NFTs, and so that the royalty split could happen automatically. And Cargo, the Cargo platforms marketplace, released recently the possibilities on their platform to sign with up to 15 collaborators on one NFT. And that's interesting because I've heard some situation with jazz bands, which are sometimes composed of a lot of people, up to 15 people in a jazz band. And when you want to release this kind of music, first there's several tracks and an album and complex system, but at the same time you have 15 people to manage on that same project. And so it gets kind of complicated when it comes to NFT today, where you cannot really manage this kind of situation, and that would be interesting to bring all those capacity into one platform. And that leads us to an interesting topic, which is music marketplace, music-oriented NFT marketplace. And I wanted to tell the story of Catalog, which we were talking at New Year's Eve. Like, what is Catalog, this new platform, music-oriented platform? And we couldn't find much about it yet, but I've done my research, and I don't know if you have had some insight about it yet, but
Catalog.
yeah.
Yeah. As far as I know it, it's right now. I think it's slightly limited in who it's letting on its platform right now. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that's like I think the vibe I'm getting. But also, yeah, it's gonna basically be like a marketplace, like a vinyl. It's gonna be like a digital vinyl store is how it was described to me. It's basically they're gonna be uh, allowing you to like upload your song, and they did talk about the idea of being able to put royalties within it. I mean, either that or he said that was like the thing that they want to be able to do, but that's obviously the biggest problem I feel like everybody has with being like that big of a platform and what they're trying to do. But
So
and you could set royalties after the fact too. So for example, say you sell it for $100, and you can put whatever the resale value is, you get like 10 to 20% of that as well. So you'll perpetually like get the sales royalty off of the original even after you sell it, which I think is cool. That's a good way to like keep the revenue going. That way you kind of can still feel like you're a part of that. But yeah, so that's what I think it is. I mean, I don't know. Do you know any more info on it?
yeah, so this is how the story goes. Initially, this team developed a radio, actually, which is called Loft.radio, and you should definitely check it out. And that was their first project, and the project was to have a 24/7 radio playing in a browser, and that would load, the artist name and the track name, which is not loading on my computer right now, but I think it's Brave. And the idea is that you can tip directly the song you are currently listening, and that through MetaMask and Ethereum. So that was the first basic project. Like you would just the music is lo-fi oriented, like the lo-fi kind of beats, where it has its color. So not everyone will be played on that radio. There is a curation, but once you pass that curation and be featured on that, it's kind of label in some way at the same time. Once you get played, then there's this mechanism where you can just tip at the artist directly when you hear it, and then there's a chat. You can chat with people here, and that's just cool vibe, and you let that on the background, and that's out of the phenomenon I think we've all seen of these 24/7 radios on YouTube with lo-fi beats, and that's where it's originated. But that takes it to another level where you can now tip the artist. And one thing that is important is that 100% of the tip is going through the artist. They aren't taking any commission, and so that's the team behind Catalog first. So the energy is already great, and that's their manifesto from there, where they they played 54 artists onboarded on Ethereum and MetaMask. 500 people were connected to this website, and more than $1,000 were paid to the artists in incrementals, 25 cents tips. And so that's pretty significant. And so what's next is that, and I'm reading the quote, they shifted their focus into a new project called Catalog. And so Catalog is an open market for music, providing musicians a better way to sell their work online, and listeners with a way to build a music library with real value. So using Ethereum, they think it will reshape how art is valued and will empower creators with more ownership and control over their work online. And so, big shout out to them. I'm really excited to see what the platform will be about, but we can definitely foresee all these considerations we talked about during the show. And also, at this very moment, the lack of a music-oriented marketplace. Like, there's all the marketplace except music and MP4 and everything, but no platform that is really music oriented, taking in consideration all the problematics that the music industry has to face when it comes to dealing with whether it's the legal aspect or the technological aspect of how to put up NFTs into music. And at the same time, I just wanted to mention Rocky, which is already to me the first music-oriented NFT marketplace, and that they are doing a very great work. We talked about it last time, as they were, the anciently Shun. Sorry, the previous company was Shun, first initiative, but now it's Rocky, and they are orienting into being a music-oriented marketplace. So there will be two, Catalog and Rocky, and I'm really excited what 2021 will bring around this new marketplace that we will be able to meet.
Yeah, no, these are both dope. I didn't even know about the design of lo-fi radio or loft radio. That looked sick too. The whole design of that, like the pixels and shit. Was that like specific to the artist, or was that like the actual site?
No, it's the site. There are several visuals that you can play during. I love this one.
Oh yeah, I remember you posted that one day, and I thought it was I thought I thought the dude you tagged as the artist. I actually DM'd him about it. I was like, "Yo, did you make this art? You should know me." And then like he was like, "No, I didn't make that." So, but that's fire.
That's it.
But yeah, no, these are both great. I'm excited to see what like how they I'm just excited to see what people like me and you can how we can utilize them and see like what's the demands going to be on that site and how are people going to interact with it. I think it's just that's one way to think about like how I feel once again to see how successful these things are is how easy is it going to be for somebody who doesn't have anything to do with this community to go on that site and really work it and enjoy the process. Like I think NBA Top Shot is once again, the best I've seen in terms of a platform like giving people an easy way to understand what they're getting. And so I feel like that would be really sick to see if catalog can do that, but with music and create like a way to incorporate maybe other platforms as well to like showcase those things as well. So it's interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see, but
Yeah, and
yeah,
Easy is
definitely gonna
saying,
be useful.
what about gas? But we don't know still yet on which blockchain and which system catalog will be based on. So we're very curious about all the aspects going on here. And yeah, I just wanted to make a little pause and showcase a very special one tonight from Metaverse Production 2020 that did this week a track, which is, a cover from a pretty successful song, I'd say, and where the lyrics has been rewritten into Metaverse one. So just enjoy this one. Shout out to Space Painter in the
Now
house.
let me welcome everybody to Decentraland, a world that's untouchable like a own Clark Kent. Looking good, I have a barbarian chest. Pack a vest for your Clark, cause they're selling fast. We were at Moonshot event with the bomb-ass beat, looking for jerseys but they were fast empty. Barry Silbert on a mission for them greens, quarantined money making machines with digital jeans. We were in DCL for 2 months making rap tunes, and none of us is even having tattoos. DCL Plazas is the place for our crew. We always check there which event we can go to. It's all good, the city stood the gate. Space Painter is the bomb cause your art makes my day. Throw up some mana if you feel the same way, and also admire some art from glass grain.
Vegas City in DCL, man, I must be dreaming. Soon as I stepped in the scene, on live roulette I'm leaning. Digital money and NFTs, the life of my avatar where we can fly. And it's all ball, only love, there is no riot. And we cannot die in DCL wearing barbarians, no shorts. That's why dressing Frankenstein suits and beasts is what we do. Flushing but they have caution, we collide with other crews. Famous gossip programs, worldwide get one short stadium full using no spam. Best fucker grinding like a slow jam. It's DCL, so you know it's no competition for no man. Say what you say, Crypto Scorpio met art the other day, and now a serenade is art who I play. From Vegas to X-Town, neighborhood area and back down. DCL is where they put their Mac down. Give me love.
Yeah, Cryptophonia. The track is called Decentraland, Love and Burning. And I love this. It's interesting to see, like, what are we going to do with those tracks? Are they going to live forever on SoundCloud like unofficial or whatever? Or are they going to be someday able to, deal with this new system that will easy the process for them to be officials?
Facts. It's a good point. Good question.
What?
And but yeah. What was I gonna say there about that tune? I honestly can't remember. But where are we at with it right now? Oh man, look at this. It's the here's the lyrics. Love it. Have we hit all these topics? I don't know where we're at right now with it. How are we feeling?
Oh yeah, I'm going to show it on screen. Yeah, so we're
What was I?
we're
I
done.
can't remember what
What are the last topics you're asking? I mean, we've done the adoption, we've done the catalyst news, we've done the tech news with this multi-layered NFT, the royalty splits, and talking about catalog. And now we have this last part, which is basically imagine the future shortly with few basic concepts. We already did the manage business. I'm a creator, which was part of our previous talk. But then there is three interesting case that are cool to think about. And the first is about DJs. We're talking about the time where DJs will be able to play again, or maybe online or whatever. And that will go from MP3 to NFTs, where you would play your song, it would connect to the NFTs, and then it would, somehow be connected to the system, and then every set list from a DJ is paid in real time with all the splits happening, and that would be crazy. Like all your sets is connected, and every DJ is in the world.
that is fire.
Yeah, that would be dope.
That's a real that's a real solution, you know? That's a real problem that DJs face, and that's a real solution right there. And that would open up just more of a market for people to sell music to DJs specifically. And then you gotta think about it like, a DJ could be really popping, and instead of like trying to get like, top 40, well, I'm assuming this would cause a little bit of a paradigm shift in terms of what's popular music, but you could basically have a DJ where they're blowing up artists because artists are sending them their NFTs, and it's like it's very exclusive to just that DJ, and that DJ can like rep that NFT whenever he goes out and plays.
Yeah, we have this word from Easy. I need a NFT Walkman, and that's exactly the point. Let's all get an old Sony Walkman, and that can read NFTs. That would be awesome. Connected to the Wi-Fi somehow. That's a great
Oh, that would
idea. A great revival idea.
Yeah, it could be like a good like thing to go with maybe that would be sick if that was like part of an NFT. Somebody put like that is like a physical item. It comes with the exclusive uh audio on a Walkman, and you can just sell them a single Walkman, and it just has one song on it. That'd be kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
Crazy. And so
But
the next Imagine the Future would be, and shout out to Raging Bitcoin again, that's a conversation we had over CryptoVoxel one night, which was about, imagine that your full-time job is to design music for virtual space, like in CryptoVoxels. Like you are actually
yeah,
paid to, you know, just create the ambience of virtual world, and that's your job, your day job.
that'd be sick. That'd be so sick. I mean, and honestly, there's probably a market for that right now. If somebody was just
It's
to
early for
focus on
that,
just that,
but
walk around, hit up every single person that owns every single parcel and every single crypto voxels place and Decentraland and all that. You just hit them up and you say, "Hey, like I love your space, blah 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 blah. You should let me make the music for it." Like, you know what I mean? You just hustle that. That's actually a good idea, honestly.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was interesting to think about, but not much
Yeah,
for the moment. There's a market for builders, that people that are doing Vox files and all the things happening, the 3D models and everything. But I'm sure at some point we will definitely see some virtual music ambiencer that are get music influencer, that would be paid to do that.
definitely.
And so, yeah, the last topic isn't that much interesting because we already talked a lot about it, but it's about getting interest into the success of music, trading music, having basically an app to bet like you would bet on sports, but betting on artists like, okay, this artist is going to blow up in 2 months. I want to, get in and make profits off of it because I understand the music business and so on. And yeah, that was just an idea to think that. That's quite some time we think about this idea actually, and I know it's pretty much out there, and I would love to see some development in that space specifically. in the coming years. But yeah, that's something that is really exciting for me to how I think about music and productions and how we love following the artist careers. Uh, I would love to have a tool to play, to bet on any artist that I would consider popping or shorting.
100%, dude. 100%. And yeah, and like I like that too. If you can create a way in which it can feel like trading any type of cards, whether that's like a Pokemon card like feel, if we could create that
Yeah.
same feel, which once again, going back to NBA Top Shot, I think right now they have it figured out the best. But it's
Hmm.
like if there's a way to where we can see like this moment versus that moment, it's like becomes a bit like not competitive, but being able to really like have like a good value in the idea of trading them. I think that is what's gonna create the psychology and the community to like create a culture around it, and that's what's gonna blow it up a little bit more. But yeah, no, it's super interesting to think about.
Yeah, definitely. And
No shit.
yeah, I think we've made all the topics for today, so we will be able to finish in a 1 hour and a half mark. And there's an
Yeah.
interesting uh, thought in the chat that says uh, that would be interested to see high quality music related to NFTs, because as of now we can only technical limitations only allows small files size, and so you can pretty much deal only with MP3 on most platforms. Some platform has higher, you can play with waves or flags, but that would be interesting to see high quality, put into NFTs. Even though personally I always loved MP3 feels as a pencil. So I like the distortion, I like the MP3s, and I always will. But
Interesting.
definitely,
Interesting. I like that. I like that thought. That's just like an insight into the way you think. I like that. It's true though. It is true that yeah, it's like an added amount of compression, which does give you just like a natural distortion that you're used to in a way. Cause like,
yeah,
even when I'm sure when me and you both were growing up, we were probably torrenting the shit out of music. So
no,
it's like I was just downloading music illegally. It's not like that was good quality WAV files, I was listening to probably MP3s and they were super
it's
compressed
just
to
that
like
for me the energy is more important than the quality, and
for
so
sure,
you
for
can
sure.
feel the energy on very bad tapes out of 90/30 or whatever. Just the energy is always the priority for me instead of the quality. But I do understand the quality talks, and I would love as well to see and play somehow with quality possibilities, technical possibilities in the NFT space. Even though having some, very high frequency, uh, uh, you know, sorry, I'm explaining very wrong,
No, no, no.
but how do you call it, the 44 100 hertz? You see what I'm talking about?
Say that again. 400 hertz.
No, 44,100 hertz. The
Oh
clock.
yeah, yeah. I got you. Yeah, 44.1. Like you mean like the sample rate.
Yeah, the sample rate, exactly. That you could play with some very crazy high sample rate that are not used in the standard, traditional way of how people are listening to music. But you can have multiple crazy experimentation, but that would be cool to have all sorts of file size, and that's not really the case currently.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate all the kind messages about the show so far. But yeah, I just saw a
Yeah,
comment
thanks for
about
all the
what about
comments.
what about using 432? So I've actually thought about this. We all
That's a
know that it
legend.
was the Nazis. The Nazis are the ones that changed it to 440. Am I wrong? I can't
No,
remember.
no, no, that's true. But that's not the 90. It was before in the 1930s, where the standard tune was set to 440. But
Right,
that has
right.
not really been proven in any way. So I've been digging that a lot. And I have a 432 diapason here in my room. but it's just street legend. Difficult to know really what's up with that.
Somebody, yeah, and I've seen people go as far as to say that 432 is the natural tuning of our is like the natural tuning of the universe, right? Or just like, the earth or something. And so, but somebody else gave me the thought that it's basically instead of 432, it's 528 or something. Like it's so so I've seen so
Yeah.
many things of people saying
Yeah, but that's another
multiple.
topic. Definitely, and that's complicated.
That's what I mean. Like it's so hard to tell. It's so hard to tell anymore. Like you never know what's real and what's fake. Or
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
the
such a
point here.
but I mean, the solfeggio scale or whatever it is, the thing that you actually sent me a video on cymatics recently,
Hmm.
and how it affects vibration affects
Yeah.
the physical world, and which I found super interesting. And I think one of the things is that on the solfeggio scale, it's like 528 or 520 or 532. It's one of the two, but it's not 432. And so I thought that was interesting,
Well, that would be for
but it's
another
yeah.
conversation. Yo,
Yeah, exactly.
I think yeah,
I,
it will be time to close the show, and I would like to thank everyone for listening and for commenting. I would have the pleasure to read back all the content, and yeah, I thought I wanted to play one of your song to tease one of your song, MAiWorld. I was thinking about Departure, the late mix we just did. If you agree.
I mean, if yeah, I mean, let's do it. Why not? Why not? This is a little bit of a debut, a little bit or for it because you just Mighty is basically putting the final executive mix and master on all these tracks right now, and he made this one sound crazy fire. Like I mean, he killed this one. So but and you just sent this to me last night, so um
And
these aren't complete 100%, but of course these are all going to be a part of we're working on a project together. It'll be the first project I put out as an artist, and yeah, but it's going to be cool.
And yeah,
So yeah.
you'll better stay tuned because you are going to have a very powerful album going into your ears direction. And yeah, so but before we play your song, I just wanted to shout out Matthew Chain, who is about to release an audio NFT one-on-one this Thursday. And yeah, I love his music. Definitely check him out as well. Maybe we won't have
Oh,
time.
right, yeah. And we'll touch him. We'll touch him again next week for sure. Yeah, we did
Yeah,
forget.
yeah,
We forgot to do the last one, but that's all right.
definitely.
Hey, we're still trying to figure out the timing of this show, but no,
Yeah.
yeah. But Matt's super cool dude. I actually talked to him earlier this week as well, and we're talking about doing some cool shit as well. Like we're trying to get a group together and basically get as many people as we can in in a little group, and we're gonna try. I mean, I don't know if I should announce this idea already out loud, but we're planning something. We're planning something. Maybe next week we can talk about it more, because I don't want to say anything before anything happens. But yeah, we're getting a little group together. We're figuring some things out. And, could be interesting. Could be interesting, but we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. And I
But yeah,
think I think we will play the music once the NFT is out next week.
cool.
And
Um,
so I think it's
should
time
we?
to
Should
say
we? Should
goodbye.
we?
Yeah, tell me.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, let's hit it. Let's hit him with it. I'm just a little nervous. I mean, it is like it's a debuting little track
Don't be, don't be.
for
The
the
track is hot as the hell.
for the 10 people.
And so
For
yeah,
the 10 people that are here.
yeah.
Like,
Let's thank everyone here. Thank you to TokenSmart for hosting the show and commenting. Yeah, we had a lot of very supportive feedback all along the week, and that was really inspiring and driving us to that direction of organizing something cool and insightful for everyone. And yeah, so I tell you, see you next week. And yeah, I would love to have the feedback to this episode. And yeah,
definitely.
enjoy the week. Have a good time, and chill out on the situation everywhere. And
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
wish you all the best.
Yeah, thank you guys. We're happy
So
to be here.
yeah, here is Departure from the upcoming My album, MAiWorld. See y'all.
Something is wrong, what do they know? I tell myself I'm better off alone. Where do I go?